Six.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, as best as can be.
Yeah.
I saw the
That's good.
video of them being taken to Gitmo.
Yeah.
They did a night flight, and Monkey Works is covering the flights going down on FlightAware.
Okay.
So yeah, they're taking the worst of the worst. They said are the guys that were accused of murders.
Yeah, that's what I
Prisoners.
thought. I thought they were taking like known terrorists and like the
Yeah,
heaviest criminals right now.
yeah,
Like they weren't
but they
taking
didn't.
just random deportees.
No, they didn't. They didn't specify that. They specified that the worst of our worst criminals. That's all they said. They didn't specify if they were Americans or if they were illegals. They didn't specify either way.
Yeah.
But I saw the video of them offloading them off the transport. It looked like one of those C-130s.
Well, and the other thing I was just thinking is they've been bitching about closing Gitmo forever. And it's just like now you're mad because somebody's using it and it's still open. You guys have been paying for it.
Well,
And like I
they've
know
been
we've been using
expanding.
it, but
They've been
they've been talking about closing it for so long. And it's just
that.
like the other side.
Yeah, that's because they want it closed. The other side at this point
But
does
I'm just
nothing
saying
but wishful thinking.
they've had control of the party for the last 4 years. I mean, control of the House and the presidency for the last 4 years. If they actually
Yeah,
wanted to close it, it would have made sense to do that. They
yep,
just
they
want to
had a
use
hard
it as a
time.
talking point.
Right. If they wanted to do it, they would have done it. But
Yeah,
he's
get an
expanded.
executive order and made it, lose money.
Right. They all talk. Um, but no, Trump has expanded it. They built a new courthouse, more than one courthouse. They're going to have a lot of trials there. They've
Do
released the previous prisoners.
What laws do they follow when it comes to the trials at Gitmo? Is it all American laws? Like, how does it work?
Well,
Or do
it's
you
an
get trialed
American
differently?
base. It's an American
I know it's
base,
an
but
American base, but I feel like they treat prisoners there differently than they do in the United States.
well, they did under Obama.
They've done it
This
under
is,
previous administrations. It wasn't just
yeah,
Obama. We've used
exactly.
that for a torture place. Like,
Exactly.
that's
It
why I'm
doesn't,
saying I didn't know what laws kind of flew there, especially
that
with
was
the court
CIA.
system.
That was
Yeah.
CIA. But, oh God, what was I going to say? There, it's American based, but it's military law. In a military law, there are certain things you don't have to have.
Oh, okay.
So it's military tribunal for the treasonous charges. For these guys that are sent down there today, they're already charged and incarcerated. He's just getting them off the taxpayers' backs.
Yeah. Well, and you don't want them in a private prison in the United States.
No.
And I guarantee he asked the other countries if they would take them first. And I guarantee
Oh,
they all said no.
no, no, no. San Salvador is working something out with him because they're building more prisons. He's also got sending some down there. But
They
what's
have
going
to because of overcrowding in their prisons. They were on a show with like world's worst prisons.
yeah.
El Salvador is high up there.
Well, no, 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 no. Well, it's a clean prison. It's worse because it's crowded. But what they're doing is they're getting subsidies from us for taking criminals.
Oh, okay.
And
So they'll
and
eventually start expanding and
right, they need the
yeah.
money, we need the space, and we want these people off. And what he's doing is he's putting everybody in these prisons to work. They all either make garments or work in agriculture, but they all work. Nobody sits in the cell. And not only that, they don't get mattresses or pillows or blankets. They sleep on that metal grate that these bunk beds have, and they pack them in. So if they're
Yeah.
not happy about their situation, they should have thought better about their life up here.
Well, yeah. And I've always wondered that. It's the same thing with people trying to fight for people in jail to be able to vote or some shit like that. I'm like,
No,
no, these
you
people
lose
got in
that right.
trouble. There's a reason. There's a
You
reason
killed
they can't vote.
somebody. If you killed somebody, you took away their free will to vote.
Right.
So you lose yours.
It's a wash.
Yeah. But
Well,
dang,
and then I feel like
these people.
there's certain felonies that people should live with that it's like, no, you lost your privilege to be a part of this, you know, democracy, whatever you want to call it.
Right. But at this point, we've put up with too many lenient judges and a lenient court system and lawfare. No, this is over. We're going back to constitutional law. We're going back to common law. He's going to get rid of the IRS.
I'm worried. I'm worried that they're going to still cite stuff. Like, I've always known that, like, previous rulings hold pretty good merit in court. And if people start ruling stuff off of the last 4 years or something like that, then yeah, they could start citing that as, you know, claims to get a win in court.
No, I think there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be washed if they were unfair, if they didn't follow the Constitution. I mean, he's already pardoned a lot of people. I'm sure he's going to pardon more.
Have they released anything about the helicopter and the plane yet?
They did, but it was on Benny Johnson.
Okay.
And also Charlie Kirk. Benny Johnson and Charlie Kirk yesterday.
I saw Charlie cover it a little bit, but all I learned was the sex of the people in the helicopter, and I learned which one was a trainee, how many hours she had, which one was the pilot, quote unquote. I didn't hear if there was night vision involved, if one of them was wearing night vision. I haven't heard any specifics about that yet, or if it was on at the time, or
the official
if there was
report.
a reason.
The official report was they were on a training flight and they were using night vision. But the problem with that is that they were about 300 feet and they weren't supposed to be flying, number one, above 150. And number two, they weren't supposed to be in that airspace.
Yeah.
Because
it sounded like it was 100%. Well, some liability can go to air traffic control for not getting the warnings off in time, because they should have been warned. It seems like faster than that.
One of the Anons had her name before they even released her name, but by the time her name was officially released, all of her social media was scrubbed. She only had 485 flight hours, so she wasn't qualified to be doing what she was doing.
That was the trainee on the helicopter.
She was flying it, exactly.
Yeah.
But when you look at the flight path on MonkeyWorks, holy moly, it's like she came in.
The angle, it sounds so crazy.
If you look at MonkeyWorks and look at the flight
or to be pattern. Like, how could you not see the lights? No, because I saw the pattern. I saw the flight pattern.
She came in under three other flights that were coming into land before she hit that one.
Yeah, they said she missed.
I think
it
was intentional. I really think this was intentional. And those Blackhawks, they have remote control capability.
But is it like intentional in what way? Like, she wanted to hurt herself or wanted to hurt others? Like, or she was manipulated?
No, it has nothing to do with her. If the Black Hawk was taken over by remote control, this is from somebody else sending
No, because they have the audio. Okay, so they have the audio though.
Doesn't matter.
The people.
They
were too calm. Did you hear them? They were too calm. They were too calm for it to be like, oh, we lost control of this. It's been taken. You know what I mean?
She might not have been proficient enough to understand the light in front of her. But the whole point is that if this was taken over remotely, then this is a message from deep state to President Trump. You know, you do this to us. I can't point to that yet. Well, this is how it's been.
It's a leap.
It's
a leap because unless the audio was faked that we received, if the audio is fake that we received or we're missing part of it,
don't trust it.
That would help us, but
I wouldn't trust it. Honest to God, I wouldn't trust it. And we have seen these moves all along since this whole Q movement started. Every time there's been a disaster, it's been a response to something that they didn't like.
But it does sound like that American airline pilot was just doing absolutely everything right and whatever they could. Especially when I heard that he tried to maneuver out of the way at the end.
Right.
The one that couldn't move out of the way. Mm-hmm. It would have taken the helicopter nothing to reroute. Like, it's so simple for a helicopter to reroute over a.
All they had to do was hold position.
Yeah, anything. Anything.
I think it was so intentional, but that's my thoughts.
I just don't know whose intent. I'm having trouble figuring out whose intention. I'm not saying it's not intentional.
Well, you keep interrupting me, and I keep trying to tell you.
I'm sorry.
Deep state.
I'm trying to talk to you before we get onto it was so many other people, you know.
Right. This is the deep state sending a message to President Trump and all of his people that apparently Trump did something that struck a nerve. So they did this in retaliation if they took control of the helicopter. Doesn't matter who was in it, who was in the plane, what the circumstances were. If they had remote control capability, they sent a message. And they use us as pawns. They don't care who they kill.
I think the biggest issue on my end is without enough evidence pointing to it being said deep state or Illuminati or them. I don't like saying that. It's a hard jump because I want to look at the pilot. I want to look at all the people surrounding. Because
wait till you find out who deep state is.
And it's not even that though. It's my liability as, oh, look at him pushing conspiracy theories that, fucking the deep state's involved with the accident. They're already talking. That's what I get swiped for on YouTube.
They're already talking about it on mainstream media.
Intentional to make the new guy look bad. Yeah. I mean, that would be the point. Like, I understand the motive behind what Mudrabbit's saying. I don't see the correlation in the evidence yet. Besides,
you will. They'll give control. They're giving a lot of it now. Follow Pete Hegseth on X. Follow Cash Patel.
Because it also makes me say, why wouldn't the experienced person grab hold of the controls? Like, none of that makes sense. Like, if there was something going wrong, the experienced person who wasn't even really that experienced, she didn't have enough to be average when it comes to hours.
If they have an override for remote control, there's no way you can get control back.
Oh, there's no way that they're training somebody on something.
That's like what happened to Gary Webb.
There's no way that they can't train somebody on a machine that doesn't have override. Otherwise, what's the guy there for?
Mm-hmm. That happened to Gary Webb in his car.
That's wild. Yeah, I've heard of those. People getting shut down. Well, vehicles either getting shut down or accelerating at speeds and they can't control them.
They accelerated him to a high rate of speed and plowed him right into a tree.
Yeah, I have heard about those.
And it was because, and I remember when that happened, we were devastated on, the conspiracy side because he was digging up dirt.
Yeah, that's the weirdest
part. We even saw
too.
Pictures of the wreckage. There's no way anybody could have survived that.
You know what I was thinking about, Denise? Was the same time all of this started happening, I was like, does anybody remember when we had like 9 train derailments and train accidents all of a sudden?
We haven't forgotten.
Some of the oldest fucking technology that we have, and all of a sudden we're having accidents with it out of nowhere. That was the other thing that I was like, all right, red flag. This reminds me exactly of that. Trains, planes, and automobiles are all acting up.
Yep.
And Pete Buttigieg should be in charge.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? You know what really gets me are these people that go, the prices are still high and Trump hasn't done anything. How long has he been in office? These people don't realize that the vendors who sell these things have already paid a high price for it. Right. They have to run through their inventory. Gas has to come down. And then the prices can come down, but they can't just immediately drop prices on inventory they've already paid 4 times for.
Oh, no, you're 100% right. Well, and then when it comes to, where I was talking about this earlier, when it comes to eggs, it's like you do realize there's a bird flu going on. And then also that the previous administration ordered a whole bunch of chickens to be killed right before they left office.
Yeah, isn't it funny that they did this a couple of times in the last, I think, 5 years, killed off a bunch of birds. And also there were, at one time, all within a year, there were a whole bunch of these industrial hen houses going up in flames, killing also hundreds of thousands of birds. Yeah, and then they start screaming bird flu. No, they started screaming bird flu after they eliminated the birds, not before. And not only that, the birds you get for these days, they're vaccinated.
The other thing is, like, where were these people the last 4 years? You're complaining about high prices now?
Yeah.
Like, sorry, 14 days ago, you guys were all convinced that the economy was doing better than ever. You guys were living a lie and saying that nothing had lost prices. That prices weren't high. Like everybody was saying that the cost of living was nothing.
Right.
Like it was like you guys were in a lie for the last 4 years and then try to pretend the last 14 days was
You
supposed to change
cannot,
everything.
you cannot convince a portal of anything once they're convinced of their own intelligence. You
Would
can't.
you like? I gotta ask you. Would you like to talk to Nemesis tonight?
Sure. What time?
He's on in the background right now. I was just wondering if you minded if I had it in mind.
No, if he should, you shouldn't keep him waiting. Bring him up.
Oh no, I was just making sure.
Why?
I would like to ask my guests in case because last time it was New Year's when he came on and he was debating us about racism not being real.
I think it's been hyped up. I mean, we got to a point in the 60s and the
I just
70s
didn't know
where
if
we
you're.
were so over it.
I know. I just didn't know if you remembered the guy that I was talking about.
Yeah.